Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video today we have a very fun and very different topic than what I usually talk about here, but I am very excited for it. So today I'm going to be talking about how you can take back time in your life so you can actually sit down and build those passive income streams that you're working on and then start to see big results. So I know that for a lot of you, you have a full-time job, maybe you have a family you're supporting, you're looking for an easy way to make passive income so that you can continue to pay off some of those expenses, make a little extra money, maybe even start a fun side hustle. I'm sure a ton of you are in a bunch of different boats when it comes to your reason for wanting to work on your passive income streams, but I'll bet that one of the hardest parts is just feeling so busy in your life. And I know that for a lot of you, you're juggling a lot of things back and forth, and it can be difficult to make time to actually sit down and work on what you want to work on. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video today. So hey, if you want to have time to go to your full-time job, take care of your family, and still get a decent night's sleep, then stay tuned for these 9 different tips so that you can learn how to take back the time in your life and work on those passive income streams. The first tip is to embrace essentialism. So oftentimes when people think of productivity, they think about being able to do everything just as efficiently as possible. But with essentialism, it's all about doing the most important things rather than trying to make time for everything. Because you see, when you're trying to make time for everything, you're juggling a lot of different things back and forth, and it's really hard to put a large amount of effort into just a few select things. And that's the goal with essentialism. Essentialism is all about being able to say no to things that you just don't really need in your life. So take time to think about all the tasks that you do and think about the ones that are important, the ones that aren't important. And another good way to figure this out is by assigning monetary values to them. For example, like scrolling through social media, that could be like a $5 task. And then sitting down and working on a YouTube video, that could be a $100 task. So obviously you want to prioritize the highest monetary values, the most important tasks, get those done first, and do what you can to eliminate the other tasks and just say no to them before you even bother taking them on. And one thing to think about is when you are saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else in the future, which leads very well into something I am about to talk about. Now I'd like to take a brief moment to talk about this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community filled with all sorts of different classes geared toward all ages and skill levels. What I love about Skillshare is that the main focus isn't just on teaching you. All the classes present you with actionable steps that you can take to implement what you learn from that class into your life. And Skillshare has classes for all your different interests. We're talking art, photography, entrepreneurship, you name it, Skillshare probably has it. I personally have been focused on productivity lately and working to make time for all my different goals, which led me to taking the class Simple Productivity, How to Accomplish More with Less by Greg McEwen, and so much from that class resonated with me. The class teaches all about essentialism, which basically boils down to cutting back on things that are less important so that you can make time for the things that are most important. My main takeaway from the class is that by just simply taking the time to think about something before just jumping right in and saying yes is a great first step to taking back time in your life, which is something that I will be working to implement into my own life. So honestly, what are you waiting for? The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. So make sure to go and check that out. All right, now let's get back to the video. The second tip is to plan your week with time blocking. So me, I am a big list person. I've always just enjoyed being able to vomit out my thoughts onto a piece of paper, just write everything down, write all my tasks down so I know everything that I need to get done. But you know, you've got 20 tasks on there and it can suddenly start to feel really darn overwhelming. So the solution to this is time blocking. Basically with time blocking, you are still using a to-do list, but you are taking all of those tasks that you need to get done and you are laying them out in your calendar, giving them the allotted time necessary to complete, and it makes it so much easier to get done what you need to because you know that everything is broken down exactly the way that you need it to be and that you have time to get everything done as well. There are a bunch of different ways that you can do this. There are a bunch of different apps and things, but I like to keep it simple with Google Calendar. With Google Calendar, you can create events, you can create tasks, you can create all sorts of different things all in one place, schedule it out, view it however you need to in order for it to be the most digestible to your eyeballs and so that it is the easiest to stick to and follow. And also make sure to plan out buffers and breaks as well, because if you just schedule out everything that you want to work on back to back, then you have no extra time if something runs over a little or if you need to go relax for a bit in between tasks. So make sure when time blocking you give everything a place and that you also include time to just relax. And then once you're done, you you feel super organized, and you have everything planned out just the way that you need to so that you can start tackling all those to-do list goals in one actionable way. Also, a fun fact, if you have the Google Calendar app on your phone, you can even create a new goal. Like, let's say you want to work out. What you do is you click the button to create a new goal, you determine what the goal is, how much time you want to take to that goal, what time would be best for that goal, and then Google Calendar will create events right on your calendar using everything that you already have listed out, when would be the most optimal times for you to complete that goal, so that you can implement it really easily. So make sure to time block and make sure to check out Google Calendar because it makes it very simple. Alright, the third tip is to use the Pomodoro technique. Likely you've already heard of this technique, but basically it boils down to taking 25 minutes to complete a task and then spending 5 minutes on just a simple break to give your eyes some time to relax and stretch a bit. It's been tested and discovered that 25 to about 30 minutes is a great time to sit down and work on like a task on your computer, whether you're studying, creating a new KDP book or something. And then afterwards, during those 5 minutes, you get up and stretch. For me, I'll read a book, maybe do a few exercises. And this helps a lot. And rather than, I'm gonna sit down for 2 hours and I'm gonna work on this thing, instead you're putting it into very intentional slots of time that allow you to be the most productive and helps you think, okay, I've got 25 minutes. How can I get this thing done as efficiently and effectively as possible? Also, side note, it feels a little weird to be promoting another YouTube channel from my own YouTube channel, but I recently discovered this one YouTube channel called The Sherry Formula. Make sure to go and look it up. She has a bunch of videos that you can have running in the background while you're working on something, and it has this gorgeous aesthetic to them and this peaceful music in the background. And she uses the Pomodoro technique, and she's got a timer going, and at the same time you can do your own work and just follow along. And for me, I find that helps a lot with actually following the Pomodoro technique. And then there are the 5-minute timer breaks, and then afterward I just get back on my computer and work on something else. So the Sherry Formula, I love her videos. So great if you want to try out the Pomodoro technique. The fourth tip is to make bad things hard and good things easy. So I've been reading the book Atomic Habits lately, and oh my goodness, I love it so much. So this tip is kind of inspired from that. Basically, one thing that the book talks about is that we are all kind of hardwired for laziness, unfortunately. Naturally, we are going to want to do the thing that has the least resistance, the least friction associated with it. So rather than doing work, obviously it's going to be a lot easier to go chill out on your couch and turn on Netflix. So a lot of people will go and do that, and then suddenly the hours go by and you haven't worked yet because you don't really want to, and I can't blame you. It's like, let's say you love Netflix, which I totally get that. To make that temptation harder, you go as far as removing the batteries from your remote, unplugging your TV, maybe even taking it off the wall and stashing it into a closet. And then you can make good habits easier by optimizing your environment for success. So for example, setting things out so that you can work on them later, and then you have all these visual cues. You see your laptop open, you see, like, let's say the book bolt tab open, and then you're ready to do some research and start working on a new KDP book. And it's really easy because it's right there and your TV is off in like a closet somewhere, which essentially makes it a lot easier to get done what you need to and not what you don't need to. Another way to think about it, let's say you buy a bunch of junk food from Walmart as well as a bunch of healthy food. You've got them both sitting in your kitchen, but naturally you're probably going to want to go to the junk food more than the healthy food because the junk food always tastes better. But if you don't buy the junk food, if you only buy healthy food, if you refuse to even walk down those aisles at Walmart that have the junk food, then it'll be a lot easier to be healthy, and your only choice will be to be healthy. So remember, get rid of distractions, get rid of temptations, and instead create an environment that is just primed for productivity. The fifth tip is to get an accountability partner. I'm sure you've heard this one as well, but it can help a lot by having a friend or a loved one there to help you accomplish your goals. And let's say you want to create more KDP books. Maybe you have a creative family member who you think would enjoy the KDP space as much as you, and you could even work on it together. Set a time, do a Zoom call, and hold each other accountable. And you can even use this the negative way. You could each take turns resetting your social media passwords each week so that you don't have access to social media, therefore cannot waste hours of your day scrolling through it, and then hopefully you'll be more productive as a result. The sixth tip is to disconnect and find time to be alone. One of the best ways to be productive is if you just get rid of all outside distractions, which I know can be hard if you have, children running around, if you've got a dog constantly barking, if your phone is right at your table. But if you can find a way to go somewhere quiet, somewhere relaxing, maybe that's the basement of your home, maybe it's a coffee shop, maybe plug some earbuds in. Just do what you can to be as undistracted as possible. And the most important one is disconnecting. This is something something I want to try more right now, and I have been trying. Like when I am sitting down and working, I want to have my phone away. I put it across the room. I put it in a completely different room. Turn it on Do Not Disturb. Do not give myself the temptation to touch the button and see if I have any new notifications, because they can wait. Like, you see this thing? With this thing, I can read a book, or I can scroll through social media, or I can turn on a guided meditation, or I can see what's new on Facebook Marketplace. This thing right here can do so much. But when you're supposed to be doing something else that doesn't require your phone, this thing can only be used for bad. So keep it away from you at all costs. And trust me, it helps. The 7th tip is to wake up earlier. Morning is truly the most productive time of the day. So if you can wake up before you have to go to work, if you can wake up before the sun rises, if you can wake up before your kids wake up, before the dog starts barking at you, and spend some time meditating, journaling, get yourself into a good creative space, go work on a KDP book, go build a website, go design some graphics, whatever you're going to do, morning is one of the best times to do it. And along those lines, you need a healthy sleep schedule. I don't have the healthiest sleep schedule, and I'm really working hard on that. It's important that you go to sleep at the same time or around the same time each day, and then wake up at or around the same time each day as well. This helps train your body, train your brain, and it helps you stay energized a lot. So make sure to sleep as much as possible. But at the same time, you want to wake up early so that you can start conquering that day right from the get-go. The 8th tip is to outsource. Guys, sometimes you don't need to do everything, but at the same time, you do need to do everything. Look at the tasks you have and see what you can automate, see what you can outsource. For example, with KDP books, if you're just spending way too much time on design, then maybe you need to start using templates from Creative Fabrica, from Etsy, or just go to Fiverr and hire someone to do it for you. So wherever you can, see if there's work that you can delegate to someone else, you can outsource to someone else, because your time is precious, and sometimes outsourcing it and paying someone else to work on something for you is going to be a lot more valuable than spending the time yourself to take care of it. And hey, we live in a very advanced day and age, so if you're able, see what technology that you can use to automate some of your tasks. This could be anything from unsubscribing to emails to getting a Roomba to do all the vacuuming for you. There are so many things that you can do that save you so much time in the long run if you just invest in some software and some technology and some equipment. So outsourcing is great, whether it's to a human being or to technology. And the 9th and the last tip is to use a commitment device. Okay, there is a show that I absolutely love that is so freaking innovative, and honestly, I feel like a lot of people have not heard about it, but it is called Nathan For You. I won't go into everything that it's about, but basically, the host of the show, Nathan, what he does to be as productive as possible to get done what he needs to is he uses a commitment device, or as he calls it, an accountability booster. When he has a project that he is working on and he needs to be able to invest the time into it, what he does is he creates a very embarrassing letter with a very embarrassing photo, slips it in an envelope, goes to his post office or wherever it is, I'm not fully sure, but basically instructs them that if he doesn't come back within a certain time frame with proof that he has completed what he has set out to complete, they will mail out that embarrassing letter to whomever he addressed it to. Okay, so obviously you don't have to do that exactly, but if you can find a way to force yourself to commit to something, like telling a friend or a loved one to do something, like maybe delete your Instagram account if you don't complete something by a certain time, then that can help loads. I mean, there's definitely something to be said for being rewarded by completing something, but it's probably even more helpful if you can come up with negative incentives, something you absolutely do not want to happen. Force yourself to complete what you need to complete. Alright guys, that about sums it up. I hope that this video has helped you learn some little tips and tricks that you can use to just be more productive in your life, to cut out what you need to cut out so that you can focus on what is most important to you. The more time you spend working on something, the better it's going to become. So if you're able to set aside as much time as possible to working on what you want to work on, even if it's just a little bit of time, it can make such a difference in the long run. And hey, let me know in the comments down below what techniques that you use to be the most productive in your own life. For me, as an editor and a YouTuber and someone who's trying to work on so many different passive income streams, I understand that it can be very hard to just be productive and work on the most important things. I'm sure I don't have as much on my plate as many other people do have, but I, just like you, get distracted by things. I need to plan out my day and stuff like that. And this is something that I'm working on, and I hope that this inspires you to work on it as well. One of the things that people on their deathbeds most regret is not taking the time in their life to work on the things that they wanted to work on, that they always felt that they were prey to someone else's agenda, and you don't have to be. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. I would super duper appreciate it, and I'd love to have you. I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day. Bye!